Hello, bulls and ghouls. Welcome to a very special episode of Dads from the Crypt. This is our Chattanooga Film Fest wrap up episode. I am Jody. Jason is not with us tonight because he didn't want to make the trip all the way to Tennessee, but we have some special guests. I am joined as always by Mando.
Not always, but most of the time.
But it's most of the time, yeah. And my camera is already on a delay, so this is awesome. Just pretend I'm dubbed in very bad dubbing. But we have some special guests tonight. We have Allison from the Who's There podcast
Hello.
and Joe from Films at First Sight.
Howdy.
Welcome, everybody. So all four of us went in person to Chattanooga Film Fest this year. It was held at the Tennessee Theater Center or the Chattanooga Theater Center. I think it goes by both names, depending on, who's asking. And we saw a bunch of fun stuff. We got to watch a bunch of movies, met a lot of cool people. And so we just wanted to take some time and talk about all that, talk about some highlights. In the 4 days of in-person and the week that follows virtual, there are tons and tons of movies and shorts and activities. And since we can't talk about all that, I don't want a 3-hour podcast. You don't want a 3-hour podcast. What we're going to do today is each of us are just bringing some highlights. About 3 things that we wanted to talk about, and we're going to go round robin style. And if somebody already has one of your topics, then we'll just talk about it then. Sound good? Everybody got it?
Yep.
Great.
It's easy. First off, let's just real quick. What's your overall thoughts, Allison? You're a guest. What's your overall thoughts about Chattanooga Film Fest 2025?
It was a lot of fun. I was really sad that I had to leave early on Sunday morning, but super glad that I went again. And I went in being like, this is the last year I'll go in person because this is a lot of travel. And then I left and I was like, no, I have to go back next year. So yeah, it's a good time. So you guys are stuck with me again next year. Sorry. You're welcome.
I think we can handle that. I actually, based on how this year went, I think Mondo and I need you to be there.
That is definitely a highlight for me.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute. Joe, what was your thoughts about Chattanooga Film Fest 2025 as a whole?
It was fantastic. Talk about a jam-packed festival with, I can't believe I'm going to say it, way too many things to watch, way too many things to attend. It certainly wasn't stressful trying to figure out how the schedule was all going to come together. But goddamn, did they pull off just a really special time. The programming was excellent. The volunteer staff, it just runs it just like a goddamn ship. It's perfect. Love the new venue. It was like we're just chilling right up by the Tennessee River. So much fun.
Yeah, the new change of venue, as much as I love the Reed House the last couple of years, I feel like this change of venue was a very positive step. I liked being able to see the screen a lot better sound. Mondo.
Yeah, the first thing I noticed were those comfy seats because the first year I went, I was determined the next year to bring an ass cushion.
I did do that last year.
Yeah, because those seats were horrible. But no, I had a great time as usual. Like Joe said, so much stuff to watch. But the in-person part of it, it's curated very well to where you can pretty much catch everything you want in person. For me, I get stressed after the fact trying to catch everything online because there was just so much stuff to watch. And unfortunately, life got in the way and I missed a lot of the virtual side this year. But still, again, an awesome time. I'd highly recommend anybody who's interested in this, come out in person. Why not? It's a freaking blast. And Chattanooga is a cool little city.
Yeah, I always have these grand intentions for all the movies I'm going to come back and watch after the Emperor. Oh, I'm Benny Hillen again. This is amazing. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should.
It's almost like House on Haunted Hill, where the Vincent Price character starts going insane.
Right.
Yep.
No, it just as we talk, I just get further and further behind on my video, and then it catches up all at once. So it's really special. But yeah, I always had these grand intentions of coming home and watching like movies for days. But then I remember I have kids, and it just doesn't happen. But I did get to watch some stuff at home. Some stuff I really liked at home. So some of the things I want to talk about were things I watched at home.
I took an extra day off with the sole purpose of staying home and watching movies, and then my flight got canceled on Monday, so that turned into being a day of travel to get just trying to get home.
Isn't this a theme with you going to Chattanooga and getting stranded?
Yeah, last 2 years ago it happened too. But to be fair, last year it was about a 16-hour travel day. They did get me home same day. But just recently I was in Baltimore for Maryland Death Fest. Same thing. Flight got canceled, had to scramble to try to get home. It's weird because that never happens with my work travel, where if that happened during my work travel, I wouldn't care because I'm getting paid. It only happens on my personal time, which is some bullshit.
That nice. Yeah. All right. So we all went in person this time. Joe, Mando, and I had a Airbnb, a nice little place. Allison got to stay across the river and get shuttled back and forth by big names like Phil from the editor of Fangoria got to be your chauffeur at one point. Like all kinds of cool interaction.
Yeah, just once. But that's how we first met.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I need a ride back to my hotel from Monster Mania, and he was like, oh, I got it. I don't know who he was, so I made my friend Matt come with me. So I was like, I don't know who this strange man is.
I just love the idea that you just went up to some random dude like, hey, can I get a ride? And then
We
like,
had been talking to him all night, and he gave me his business card, which I,
Yeah.
of course, didn't look at all. I just threw it in my bag. So
That's such a New York thing to do. Like if Allison ever turns up missing, we're just gonna be like, yeah, that's about right.
I was very safe in Chattanooga because, there's some crazies there.
Yeah.
Were there?
I mean, on the streets.
Oh, okay.
Those streets are dangerous. No, I'm just kidding.
The mean streets of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
There's just nobody on them, so nobody's going to hear you scream if you get stabbed by a crazy. I go outside, everyone's going to hear me. I don't know if anyone will do anything, but they'll hear me at least.
Yeah.
There's a serial killer right now just taking down notes, like where to how and where to abduct people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got to walk down some very dark streets because our Airbnb, it said it had a like slight hill, which, a slight hill that we were all like panting because we're old men by the time we got to the top of. But, a little exercise after sitting in a chair all day.
My calves look amazing now.
Oh, yeah, just from that one weekend.
Oh, my daughter tattooed my calf. She took a picture of it. I'm like, oh, look at that, got a little veiny calf going there. Probably from all that hill walking over in Tennessee.
I will give one tip to anybody who does go. There is at least for now, before Tennessee bans everything, there is a coffee shop that does THC infusions. And let's just say, even for an experienced user, I went into some dark hole after just getting my normal amount. I locked up completely and
Freezing?
Did you see a baby on the ceiling?
I was fully present in my brain and my body was shut down. This is why Allison has to keep coming back, because Allison and Joe saved me and Mando from our cup of coffee that we had. So
for the record, I had 10 milligrams and Jody had 25.
A totally normal amount for me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you here. I debated doing 25. I decided on the 10, and I was fucked up beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I look over Jody.
It's just so you know how Jody was. He was sitting next to me at dinner, and he took one bite of his sandwich and then just stared at it for 20 minutes.
But before the movie, I'm super fucked up, and I look at Jody. Jody goes, "No, I feel fine. I feel like my normal high." By the end of the movie, I feel Jody's leg constantly moving, and I'm moving a lot too because I'm pretty fucking high. And I'm thinking, oh my god, I hope I'm not ruining Jody's movie going experience. And then by the end of it, I realized, oh, it hit him just as hard as it was hitting me. So we were both just fucking being assholes. And
so there's a warning for anybody who goes. If you go, just be prepared. It might be more than you expect.
My favorite part is walking out of the theater, and Allison catches up to me. I see her looking at me with these wide eyes, and she goes, "You look scared." I'm like, maybe. I don't know.
Oh.
This is
And to
after
further
awkward
clear the
interaction
record.
with Kimberly.
Yes.
What?
Well, to clear the record even further, yes, Allison was there to help. I don't know how much help I actually was because I was certainly imploring the both of you to figure out if that was just an outlier, maybe just a bad day. So do it again the next day and see what happens. See if it's consistent.
I was a bad influence too. I kept telling Mando like go for the drink.
Allison, to be fair, it didn't take much convincing. I'm not a very hard person to convince to do things that aren't good for my body, surprisingly. But yeah, day 2, I got super high. Not to that effect. I felt good though. Like I didn't feel like I was, except I had this moment before Hacked where I had just read about what was happening in the Middle East and our involvement in it. And then they come on stage and play the emergency broadcasting warning. And Joe had to like bring me back to reality because I was like, what the fuck is happening?
To be fair, it wasn't just the emergency broadcast warning. It was the purge siren.
So. Yes.
Yeah, but I was fucking high. I'm like, I just read this news. Do I freak people out? Should I say something? And thank God I didn't.
Yeah. All right.
Because I was super confused. I looked over at you. I was like, what? I was like, you look like you're freaking the fuck out. I was like, it's okay. There are people in masks. They're coming down the aisle. For some reason, they have drinks that they're handing out to everybody. It's a wild experience.
Yeah, I remember Joe saying it's part of the show. I'm like, oh, okay. And that kind of leveled me out a little bit. But for a minute there, I was like, oh god, things are going south. Imagine if we did mushrooms on top of that, right? Like, it's been fucking
next year. I'm gonna write it down. So while Joe and I, saved lives, we also, tried to get you to do more.
Well, I mean, we decided. To be fair, the first year that Joe went, he was the one who got overdosed by something at CFF. So it's not just us. It's just a CFF tradition to try something that seems normal and find out no, it's not normal at all.
Joe took an Uber to get sushi. Yeah, Joe took an Uber to get sushi that went like 800 feet.
Yeah, it was like a $20 Uber too. And I was like, all right, I'm not doing that again. Like, and when I left and realized that it was like literally a 3-minute walk, what had occurred in like the way too long I spent in that sushi restaurant, pretty much by myself, being ignored by like the wait staff and stuff. I walked out and there was like a full on like Juneteenth street fair going on. So nothing looked like it did before when I had entered that area of the neighborhood.
At least it wasn't like a Liberty Con parade.
That's very true. I would 10 times out of 10, I'm at the Juneteenth parade as opposed to LibCon.
I mean, that first year, it was like the conservative fiction writers of America or some shit. Like enough to where when I was at the airport, I could definitely pick out who was there for that convention. I'll just put it that way.
And the people in Chattanooga could pick out us and know that we were there for Chattanooga Film Fest. All that to say, t-shirts. Chattanooga Film Fest has a vibe that fits us well. I feel like we are all very qualified to talk about this tonight and recap it because at least 75% of us have been tatted up as my camera catches up. I have a CFF tattoo, Mando, Joe. Allison didn't go for a tattoo this year, but who knows? Next year. They said the person is already booked. They're coming back next year. So we know that for a fact. Yeah. Hey, there's my camera catching up.
Nice.
Oh. All right. Enough intro. Let's talk about some of the stuff we saw there or did there. Like I said, we're just gonna kind of go around here. We each have 3 things that we brought. So let's start with Joe this time. Joe, what's the first thing you want to talk about from CFF this year?
All right, I'm gonna keep it classy. You know me. So let's talk a little Exorcismo, the transgressive legacy of Classificata S.
I knew not to even put that on my list because I knew you would have it on your list.
I'm excited you guys talk about it because I wanted to watch this Saturday night. I forgot I'm in a different time zone than the festival, so I missed this, and I'm really bummed.
Oh, sorry, Mando.
It's okay.
All right, so tell us about Exorcismo.
Well, one, it's a brand new documentary from Severn Video. David Gregory and that entire crew has just been like gangbusters when it comes to like cinema documentaries. They did the Bruceploitation documentary a little bit ago, and this one focuses on Spanish history and Spanish cinema. They give you a little bit of a historical context and perspective to pretty much everything and what had happened. So you get a background on the rise of Franco, what happened when he took over in his full-on dictatorship, and how Catholic-led suppression and censorship overshadowed all of the Spanish arts and art scene. When Franco finally passes away, the dictatorship falls, and there is a very brief 5-year period, only 5 years that classification X or S before it became X was around, and really you had an explosion of sleaze and transgression, but really what it was artists and people getting out repression. It's what happens when you're under a dictatorship for damn near I was almost half a century, which is crazy enough to say, because I want to say he rose to power in the 30s.
Yep.
And so the documentary touches on a lot of the critical movies that defined the classification, the directors and creatives that were really involved in all of that. They had amazing guests. They had some archival footage of Jess Franco. Shaylee Rowan Legg was a historian that provided a bit of the context. I love seeing her in her Marta shirt. Marta is a newer short film that's part of a rape revenge trilogy that was done by Lucia Forner Segarra. I loved it. I learned so much, and really it's something that speaks so solely to my personal taste. It's not going to be for everybody. And the fact that my favorite thing coming out of the festival was a documentary about this. I think we're living in a time where examinations of art and censorship are so critical, and understanding kind of the interplay between the two of them is something that's going to kind of, it's going to possibly push us forward and keep us out of the trenches that we've seen so many people kind of fall into.
Yeah, Allison has the loudest keyboard I've ever heard in my life.
I watched this one too, because I knew I had to watch this one, because this is the kind of documentary that I sit with a note document open so that I can jot down movie names the entire time. And just like always, I have a ton of stuff I want to watch now. I'm not as familiar with this stuff. I've watched a lot of Spanish exploitation and stuff, but this really focused on that classification X, or S. So
before it became X.
Yeah. So it wasn't just Spanish exploitation. It was Spanish sexploitation and it was very sleazy stuff. But also very gory and just over the top in every way, because they hadn't been allowed for a long time.
Absolutely. And I think almost 80 to 90% of the films in that classification S were sex comedy, sex dramas that probably blurred the line between softcore pornography and hardcore pornography. But in that small 10 to 15%, you really had just some absolute gems. And it's a documentary. One, it opens up with a quote from Paul Naschy. That's always a good signal. And to bury the lead, it's narrated by Iggy fucking Pop.
Yeah.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome documentary. I have a list now, and if you go on Letterboxd and search Exorcismo, somebody went through already, of course, and made a list of every film mentioned. So, good resources.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah,
It's great.
If you like weird movies, it's great. Severin's great for that kind of stuff. All right, Allison, what do you want to talk about first?
I'm going to talk about Abigail before Beatrice first.
I did not catch this one. and it was the winner for best film this year. So yeah, absolutely, I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I watched it streaming because I don't think it was playing in person at the festival. This was the last thing that I watched on Saturday night before everything went dark. And it's about an isolated woman who is confronted with her past when a fellow former cult member reaches out with the news that their cult leader has been released from prison early. This was written and directed by Cassie Keat, who I was not familiar with before. This is kind of like, I don't know, it felt very dreamy, and you pick up with the main character who has been trying to reacclimate to regular life since being in this cult. And, you know, she's having some trouble. And then one of her former, you know, I guess you can call them sister wives, comes back to tell her that he's been released early. It has kind of a weird ending, but it cuts back and forth between present day and how the cult formed and how they got people and like what kind of broke the cult up. And the last scene is how the cult leader met the main character, Beatrice. And it's called Abigail Before Beatrice because Abigail and Beatrice are the two women. And this is kind of like also an LGBTQ friendly movie because Abigail and Beatrice have definitely some kind of connection there. But they're also both in a relationship with the cult leader, Grayson. And it was really interesting. It was an hour and 50 minutes. So it was on the longer side for the festival. But I really enjoyed this.
I love a good culty movie.
Yeah.
I'm really bummed that I missed this one.
Me too.
All right.
But that means there's something really good to watch later on.
That's right.
Especially considering it won the best feature.
Definitely.
One great thing about Chattanooga Film Fest, too, is when you're participating with the virtual side, they have the Discord server going the whole time where you can chat with filmmakers and everything, and that's really cool. But also, those Discords stay active after CFF ends, and a lot of times they do a good job about coming back and talking distribution when things actually get released. So I will be keeping an eye out for that one for sure.
I was not very involved in the Discord this year. I'll have to go check it out. I've checked it out like a couple of times when people were reporting that they had COVID. So
that is something. COVID did hit the festival this year. Thankfully, all four of us somehow managed to avoid it. So
yeah,
this is what we get for being boring and not going to the parties. Is we don't get COVID.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I can go to a party in Las Vegas. I want to watch movies on the CFF.
That's always my thing. I'm a movie nerd, so I'm there to watch movies. All right, Mando.
I'm gonna pick one that I doubt anybody else picked. Portal to Hell.
That was one that I thought about too. I love that movie.
Yeah, that ended up being one of my favorites. I love the blend of absurdist comedy. Oh my God, Jody's fucking freaking out on camera.
Yeah.
I can't take it.
He loves
I don't
this
know
movie
what's happening with
too.
my camera tonight. I'm in a portal right now.
This shit is possessed. But I love that blend of like absurdist comedy with also very deadpan comedy. How everyone's just totally cool. There's this portal to hell out of this fucking dryer at the laundromat, and Keith Davids is always fantastic in pretty much everything he does, and it's also impressive. This was done by a first-time writer/director. I had his
Woody
name pulled up
Best.
here, and then Woody Best. Thank you. I had his name pulled up, and I clicked the wrong button. Plus, I think great performances all around. I love the story behind this, and it's thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. Richard Kind pops up, who's always good at chewing up scenery. I used to love him in Curb Your Enthusiasm. One of my favorite shows of all time. So this ended up being one of my favorites of the festival, and I might be alone in that aspect as one of my top three. But I think everyone pretty much like. I don't remember, Allison, if you liked it or not. But I know Joe and Jody both enjoyed it. I think, right?
No, I really liked it. I'm not often a fan of horror comedies, but it's like this kind of like deadpan horror comedy that I really like, where everyone's like, "Yeah, it's a portal to hell." So anyway, what's the weather like?
Yeah,
that's what I like.
I don't remember. Was the boy band they referenced? Was that a real boy band that they referenced in that movie?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's real.
Oh yeah. One of the guys was there. The guy who was in the movie was there. He was standing around.
That's right.
I'm very out of the boy band loop. I'm not into the boy band.
Come on, Mando.
What?
Well, I don't have kids that are young enough to be into boy bands, and it was just never my thing. Once NSYNC broke up, I was just devastated. So
Well, they were big,
they-
well,
Can't give your heart
they were
to
big like
another
10
band.
years ago. Hot Shell Ray wasn't really a boy band, though. Weren't they like?
Not really, I guess.
They weren't like NSYNC. So,
Yeah.
but also
But-
NSYNC was like almost 30 years ago. So your excuse does not check out for that.
well, I mean, that's about when my child never got into the boy bands. So
Neither did I. So
I don't know. You sure know a lot about them for someone that's never gotten into the boy bands, but it's okay.
I watched a
I mean-
documentary on Netflix.
I will say
That was a good documentary. Is that the one about all like? Yeah, that was a good documentary actually.
Yeah. Mhm.
the running jokes about Hot Shell Ray and how the demon Richard Kind plays a demon, and he says that he will save this person if he collects 3 souls or one of the members of Hot Shell Ray because he hates the song that they made. And
I totally forgot about that.
that was one of my favorite gags in the whole thing. And apparently the filmmakers are friends with like the lead guy, and so that they wrote him into the story basically. Plus Richard Kind plays a demon. It was fun.
Yeah.
And I love it because at the end of the day, it's really for no good reason. Like he just wants the soul just for shits and giggles, and I kind of love that.
He's a demon.
Yeah,
He doesn't need a why.
Got a job to do.
yeah. No spoilers, but yeah, the deadpan humor in this is what really hit it for me. And if you give me that, I'm a happy guy.
All right. Well, I'm going to torture everybody by talking out of sync here about one of my first picks. It was the first movie that I saw at CFF this year. One that I knew nothing about going in. It was called I Hate Myself and Want to Die. And despite the very dark title, it was a very dark comedy. It's about a guy who spends the entire movie contemplating or attempting suicide. But it was great, and it was really sweet and very genuine and heartfelt and heartwarming in the end, but also very funny. He has a friend who is like this stoner character with a katana. There's a great katana versus what is it, like a jack for a car? Like they get
a tire iron.
Tire iron. Thank you. I'm feeling very manly right now, not being able to come up with the word tire iron.
An unscrewer thingy.
The thing with the wheels.
Come on, touch his nuts.
What's that?
I said touch his nuts. Sorry, that was it.
All right, there we go.
Thank you for adding that to the conversation, Joe.
It's really all I can at this point. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, no, it was really well directed. The acting was all very good. But overall, I just thought it was a sweet story about suicide and finding meaning in life and wanting to die, but then I don't think it's a spoiler to say that it doesn't turn out that way. So yeah, I really, really like this one a lot.
Spoiler for me. Damn.
This was on my list
So
too because
the lead character does not commit suicide in the movie that I said was heartwarming. Sorry.
this was on my list too. They do such a good job of like masking what this guy's end goal is with all this great humor and like very warm kind of comedy in between it and the warm connections he has with people. So you almost forget halfway through the movie what his end goal is.
Right.
Except for he keeps trying to get that damn hibachi. And I'm with you, Jody. The sword fight in this is I was almost crying with laughter when he's threatening to kill him with the sword if he tries to kill himself. Like just the logic behind that is the best thing ever.
Well, now my camera has completely vanished, so I don't know what's going on there. Whatever. We're just gonna keep going. I don't.
You sure?
Yay!
You look like a
You're
portal
back.
from hell.
He's
I'm back. I'm back.
Can you just fill your frame with fire, with flames, just to be on?
Yeah.
Flames.
Yeah.
Science of my feet.
So I couldn't get over in that film the fact that not only did the main character look like John Krasinski in A Quiet Place, and kind of talk like him, like the mannerisms were all there, but the shitty boyfriend of his cousin.
Yeah.
Is his cousin or niece? Cousin, right?
Cousin. Yeah.
Cousin, yeah.
was like a dead ringer for Channing Tatum. Like,
Yes.
is this some sort of like? I feel like this is like in the DSM, like where you're like, oh, I'm just seeing these celebrity faces everywhere.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Well,
put my
it
finger
is?
on who he looked like until you brought up who. I'm like, oh my god, it was John Krasinski.
No,
What-
it was definitely not John Krasinski.
He looked
One
like
of my
him.
favorite type of CFF movies is like the lovable loser goes on a quest. We got Off Ramp last year. This one, I don't know if we'll talk about it later, but Vincent Hicks is another one of those dirt bags on a quest, and I love that kind of thing. It's fun
I
stuff.
feel like Obex was kind of like that too.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've all talked about one, so let's go round two. And this time, Allison, start us off. What's another one you want to talk about?
Another one I want to talk about is one called The Beltham, which you missed because you were too high.
I was, yes. Thank you for
I-
telling me what this movie's about. I don't know.
I saw it and I still think I missed it.
You probably did. You were like not doing well.
Yeah, I definitely want to see this one. So
So this is about a struggling new mother who fights a generations-old presence lurking within her family home. That she just moved back into her childhood home with her new baby, and weird things start to happen, and she has to figure out what's going on. And this is kind of like one of my favorite types of horror movies. Just give me like a mystery and some haunting, and you don't know what's going on. Like movies like Cobweb or What Lies Beneath or The Others. And I really like this. It was written and directed by Angela Gallner, which is, I really appreciate that it was directed and written by a woman, because, it's about, maybe postpartum depression, maybe a little bit. But yeah, she's not doing well, and her parents are not helping. And I didn't guess the twist in the end. So that was good. But yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. Patricia Heaton was in it too, as I think
okay.
her mom.
It's her mom, and the dad is Corbin Burnson, which I had incidentally made the joke at the brewery earlier, because there's like an ongoing, I forget where the original joke came from. I'm like, hey, it's Corbin Burnson. He was on like an episode of Seinfeld on the fucking TV. And then when he popped up in the Beltham, I looked over, I was like, Corbin, I looked at Mando, didn't understand a single thing that I had said.
I wasn't even sitting next to you. I was sitting, maybe I don't know. I was sitting next to Allison. I thought, I don't know what was happening.
I think you were in between us.
Okay.
You were.
Yeah.
You had to keep them on both sides.
we had to,
Sandwich you.
shelf you in. Yeah, sandwich you in, so
Yes.
you wouldn't like get up and wander into the crowd.
Wander away into the night. Last we ever saw of him, he just walks out the
Hey,
door with no idea where he's going.
I offered to walk Jody back to the Airbnb, and Joe goes, "No, I got it." I'm like, "Joe, I'll walk him back. It's fine. I want you to miss a movie." And Joe looks at me like seriously in the eyes and goes, I got it. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I understand now.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
No offense, Mondo, but I did not want you leading me back that night.
No. Great idea that I didn't lead you back. Fantastic
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and also good call, Jody, on not watching this movie while obliterated out of your mind.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it would have landed very well. Because it
No,
was kind of a serious movie.
Yeah, it
I
feels
just
like-
noticed these pieces where they kept showing this witch. That was really fucking freaking me out. I'm like, I need to watch this with a clear mind, because it intrigued me enough, even in my very high state, that I really want to go back and revisit it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Mondo, talk about another one.
Oh, I thought Joe first.
We're switching the order every time. I don't want this to be
God,
predictable.
I wasn't prepared. I was
That's not how round robins work.
No, it's cool. I'm gonna steal one that Joe might say, because I absolutely love this short, and then Joe brought it up too. But it was Kraken's Maw.
Oh, yeah, I love that short. Was not going to bring it up, but I'm happy to talk about it.
Oh god, that short might have been my favorite one I saw all weekend. Just so what's funny is that the metal musician looks like a guy Nurgle from a band Behemoth, and he had a Behemoth shirt hanging over one of the like clothing racks. But I love it. It's basically just this guy, and there's this girl who won some songwriting competition that wants to play music with them, and he's like, "You'll do anything I say? Then help me find the lost city of Atlantis." And he has a whole Lego diorama he's built. He goes, "That's me. I'm the race car." Like, that was just, it fucking blew me away. And then at the end, when he actually finds a lost city, he's famous now for it. Like, Total left field fucking turn that I did not expect. I thoroughly enjoyed that short so much. You combine metal with like somewhat of like a conspiracy theory / cryptids. I'm a happy guy.
And the best thing about that was like kind of the build up, because you could tell that she clearly idolized him. And then she thought he was just being like a dismissive jerk. He's like, no, and like his like stone face until he starts talking about Atlantis. Like, no, I remember you. And then like pulls the tape out, and it's like an acoustic recording that she had originally sent in. And he's like trying to push her away from doing like the sort of music that she's trying to do, or might be like the big rock star, because it can feel like the genuine emotion in her like actual track. And then that swerve into the whole conspiracy theory. Yeah, very, very funny. So, like, the set dressing in that low budget short was fantastic. Everything in that guy's apartment, there's like something to look at and little hints along the way.
And yeah. I kind of love it too, because you'll meet these aging metalheads that play in bands that as they get older, I don't want to say they kind of soften their sound in a way where they like again, I'll use the band Behemoth. Nurgle, he wrote a record a couple years back. Actually a band like a couple years back, 10 years ago, I think. He started another like country band called Me and That Man, which is like dark alt country, and it's so far departed from what he originally did with Behemoth. But I think it's like his most honest and darkest work he's ever done, and that's what I thought was actually really cool too. It's like an aging guy who's he's a metal musician, but he's also really into music, and he's telling her how much he loves the rawness of her original recordings. And that was actually, I thought, very sincere, and I really like that aspect of it.
Absolutely. Almost even reminds me of Maynard with like his Tool to Pussifer transition, especially Pussifer like nowadays with like the soundscapes and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, while we're on this one, does anyone else have any shorts from this block they want to talk about? Because if not, I just want to talk about this block as a whole for a minute. The Bride of WTF.
Was this Bride of...
Yeah, go for it. It's probably the most pleasurable thing that I watched all week.
Yeah, so when it came to the virtual stuff, I watched The Bride of WTF for Watch These Films, and I thought it was great. So they had, let's see, the ones that I wanted to mention. Randy S. himself was about a man who has to play himself in a crime reenactment of his wife being murdered. Something about it, though, it was really good. It was really like an intense, but again, weirdly sweet performance. Love that one. The Forest was very cool with this little alien baby puppet that I got to meet in person.
Great lighting.
What's that?
Great lighting.
Yes, very cool. Empty Jars was a short about ghost sex. I mean, mostly, his soul was being kept as like a marble in a jar, and if you swallow the marble, he could possess you. And he convinces a girl to do that, or to get a guy to swallow the marble, but he's really just stealing his body so he can be alive again. And so then he has to go hunt for his own body after she gives up her body. Yeah.
Shout out for having the guy wear like a metal battle vest with real metal band patches on it, not just bullshit. I always appreciate that.
Manny Wolf, about a wolf man in 1940s Hollywood.
Representation matters, my friend.
I love that one.
And one of my favorites was called The Beast of Northwoods. It was like a 30-minute short, all in black and white, shot like a 1950s sci-fi, like the music cues, the style of acting, everything, the way that the monster was constructed. It was so pitch perfect for that 50s, but it had a modern kind of feel to it at the same time. I absolutely loved it. I will watch that again in a second. And I'm not even like a 50s monster movie guy most of the time. It's just this iteration of it was so good.
No, I watched that and I was like, I think Jody's. Then you said you were watching that block. I'm like, Jody's really gonna like that short, but I didn't recommend it to anybody else for a reason.
Yeah. So that's
what about Pumpkin Guts?
Pumpkin Guts.
Think of Pumpkin Guts.
The intro to Pumpkin Guts, I thought was like awesome.
Yes, it starts off really strong, and it's really kind of tough to kind of keep that energy. But
Yeah.
I like it, and I kind of like how they wrap the story back up around, and you kind of can see how the cyclical nature of this Halloween curse.
Yeah. Also had good music. I like that one.
Yeah.
I did not catch all of these, but I think my favorite was cunt, just because I like any excuse to say that word. It was very cheeky. So,
It's a great word. It's just a great word. Let's be honest.
yeah. I have like a piece of art that says "See you next Tuesday" on it. So those, you know.
They also, is this a block that had the one where it's like the kids are in a black metal band and the one kid is trying to exorcise his sister or whatever. Oh, never mind.
That does not sound familiar. All of us look confused.
That short pissed me off only because, like, I don't know. I won't get too deep into it, but if you're gonna try to use that aesthetic of like black metal, like, don't have people walking around with like Ed Hardy shirts on. Like, at least like,
nothing is more metal than Ed Hardy.
I would say Ed Hardy's like the least metal shit in the world. Like, I'd rather walk around with a fucking Celine Dion
Abercrombie?
t-shirt because she's metal as fuck over Ed Hardy. Yeah, Abercrombie Fitch more metal than Ed Hardy. Not the actual artist Ed Hardy. He was iconic in the tattoo scene, but like what it became and what it ended up standing for is totally different. I'm just saying, if you're going to go into a counterculture and make or subculture and make a movie about it, just find someone that knows some shit about it and just have some bring some authenticity to it so it feels organic.
Way to gatekeep, Mando.
I'm not gatekeeping. If I was gonna make a movie about New York, I'd talk to you, somebody who knows about New York. Like, or if I was gonna make a movie about 1960s Spanish Inquisition films, I'd talk to Joe. Like,
Not me. Oh,
I'm Irish Polish. I don't even know why you'd be talking to me.
Because I figure if anyone's seen a plethora of 1960s movies based on the Spanish Inquisition, it'd be Joe. That's why.
I did like the fact that as they were getting into the listing of movies at first, I was like, fuck, I own like half of these.
All right, I jumped ahead because we were talking about shorts from that block, and so I'm going to go back to Joe now for your second pick.
Ooh, okay. I am going to go a little bit different, not horror, and not really Spanish, but Latinx. We're going to Argentina with Buenas noches, aka good night. This movie was available in person and virtual. I think there was only a few of us watching it in person, and it was such a fucking fun time. I absolutely love the place a kind of shitty character into an urban environment, and they just have misadventures all night long. It is a modern Argentinian take on Scorsese's After Hours with kind of like a shitty character, Laura. The really fucked up thing is, and I'm sure my wife could probably hear me because I talk really loud, is every time they kept saying Laura, I'm like, oh my gosh, I keep thinking of my wife. But this woman just like brings chaos wherever the fuck she goes. And maybe after a few glasses of wine, that does describe my wife. This is even worse. This Brazilian woman arrives in Argentina to meet with her aunt. She's handling some family matters, loses her luggage, loses her luggage. She is trying to figure out how to kind of get a hold of her aunt. Commotions occur. She gets out of the taxi way too quick, leaves her bag with her phone in it. And so now she's kind of just stuck in Buenos Aires for the night. And then it begins this like spiral of events that coalesce perfectly in just these insanely dark and hilarious ways. It highlights the Argentinian nightlife. I laughed, I sweated, I didn't cry. I definitely bled a few points, but that was because of the tattoo. Yeah, could not recommend it more.
I do love a one crazy night kind of movie. Like where just one night everything insane happens. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
I missed that also.
Yeah.
Again, that was the same night that I missed other things.
Well,
but that's okay.
I saw this because I had to follow Joe because Allison left, so I couldn't be left to my own devices. So I followed Joe, and I really enjoyed what I saw, what I remember. But then I actually came home and watched it again because I enjoyed it that much, even in my really fucking high state.
Nice.
And I'm not going to try to elaborate more on what Joe said because I don't know if anyone can describe a movie more perfectly than what he just did. But it was a really, really fun movie and highly recommended.
I still need to watch that one. That's on my list.
Yeah, me too.
They just released the trailer for it with like English subtitles. There's like literally one word said in it, and it's Laura. So that's really funny to me. And as of so this was released 3 days ago, and as of today, there's I think 4 views on it, and I'm pretty sure 3 of them were me as I was just trying to get the vibes back.
Nice.
All right, so we have one more round of things to bring up here, and I'm gonna start this time with Mando. What's your final pick?
All right.
Sorry, I need to give. Should I warn you in the chat?
No. I just need to make sure someone's going to pick American Comic.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Is someone going to pick that?
I can. I'll save it for me. I'll talk about it.
Okay, because I want to talk about Hot Springs Shark Attack.
Thank you. That was the other one I wanted to talk about. So we're in good shape.
Okay.
Mondo and I are in.
Macho!
Dude, I was fucking crying in laughter during this movie. Is it the best movie I've ever seen? No. Is it a good movie? Probably not. Is it a fucking fun movie after you've had an edible? Yes, without question. I don't think I had more fun with any movie the whole weekend to the point where Alice looks over me and goes, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "I don't know." I had to have tears streaming down my face. I was laughing so hard at that movie. That's a movie that just says like, "Fuck it." They don't. Yeah. They're, like everyone kind of reminisces about these Sharknado movies. How the fuck did Sharknado movies ever get popular? They all suck. Let's just be honest. They're not good movies. This is not a good movie, but it's not trying to be. It's trying to be the most off the wall, ridiculous shit you've ever seen, and it kind of succeeds. And for that reason, I absolutely love it.
I feel like there's a difference between the Sharknado type movies that are intentionally trying to be like, "Oh, look how bad we are," and then like a sincerely made bad movie.
Yeah,
like. This reminded me of the movie Crabs with an exclamation point, because Crabs with an exclamation point is one of my favorite movies. I love it so much. It's hilarious. It's stupid. And this was hilarious and stupid too. Just the basic concept of this movie is that because sharks are mostly made of cartilage, they can squeeze through pipes and they pop up in spas and eat people like in hot springs. That's really stupid, but it's great.
And this is why we're friends, Jody, is because when I saw Crabs, I was like, who can I tell about this movie? Jody. Jody's the only person I can talk to this movie about.
I own Crabs on Blu-ray.
Me too.
Is it a me movie? Should I check it out?
No. Oh, yeah, you'd love it. You would love it.
No.
I liked watching this movie, but I liked watching it with a crowd.
Yeah,
I think that's what added to it. I would never sit down and watch this by myself. So
yeah, no, I agree with you. Like if I was in my office and put that movie on on a Thursday when I'm finishing up work, it's not going to hit the same. It's kind of like when we saw Pound Cake a couple years ago. That movie works with the crowd. And the crowd definitely enhances the experience, and that was the thing. If I have one complaint about it, it was a little bit long.
Hey,
it was 70 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And it was a little bit long.
Also, I will say, I think your perception of time may have been a little bit altered at the moment.
I would have to agree with him. So it was not just that he was high off his ass.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I'm like, oh, fuck, my fingernails grew 1/4 millimeter. What the fuck happened in the past?
Come out of there looking like Coffin Joe. You're like,
yeah.
Where'd I get this hat?
Also, that was one of the red eyes. That was David Desmalchin's red eye pick. And I was like, and hearing him talk about Coffin Joe and Lucio Fulci, I'm like, we could be best friends if we met, we could be best friends.
I came on here to talk that movie with you guys a while back.
That's right. Yeah, we on Dads from the Crypt, we have reviewed At Midnight I'll Take Your Soul, and Joe was our guest. So yeah, good stuff. Oh, there we go. I just sped up again. All right, Allison, what's your last pick?
It never gets less creepy.
My last pick is another cult movie, actually, and it's one that I wish I'd gotten to see in person with you guys on Sunday, but I watched it on streaming. It is a movie called Self-Help. I felt personally attacked by this movie because I've read one too many self-help books. And this is about a young woman who is going to visit her mother, who lives in a self-actualization community after becoming involved with the leader. And I want to say this is like a pretty typical like cult storyline for a horror movie, except it's a slasher too. This was written and is co-written and co-directed by Eric Bloomquist and Carson Bloomquist, who I had been talking to them with Phil and Kimberly beforehand, before a movie the day before. And so when I was watching this, I was like, why does that character look so familiar? And it's because it was Eric. So that was fun. They did Founders Day and She Came from the Woods. I've only seen She Came from the Woods. But
I've seen Founders Day. It's a pretty fun slasher.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It's on my Tubi list. So I just thought this was like a really fun slasher. So kind of brainless, but I liked it. And yeah.
I mean, how could you resist Jake Weber's like buttery, soft voice? Like the man was meant to play a psychiatrist. And I say psychiatrist in like he acts like a you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot too. We saw this one in person, and it was a lot of fun. And it's one of those things about seeing things in person at CFF. There was guys with masks walking around. They were handing out name tags with names written on them. And just part of the whole experience. I thought it was really great.
I wish I'd been there for that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, Joe, you're up.
Okay, my third pick is probably my most inappropriate pick, which is kind of funny considering I was talking about pornography and stuff like that earlier. While I had already seen this film, I loved it even more the second time I saw it live again in person, and that is Annapurna Saram's Fuck Toys. A just insanely lush 16mm shot film that is hysterical, inappropriate, insightful. It is Cleo from 5 to 7 by way of John Wooders, but instead of like the big C, instead of the big C being cancer, it's capitalism. It gets at the transactional nature of almost all of our interactions. It is wildly over the line at times. I mean, I want to say within like 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, there's like piss play, and you're like, okay, what the fuck is happening? But I could not take my eyes off the screen. And the first time I watched it, I thought it was good. And I was like, oh, cool. This is an amazing first feature. And it kind of sat around in my head and didn't go away. But then the second time it all kind of clicked. And she packs everything so well with so much. There's weird surrealism going on. All of it's really topical. The way it handles sex work, I think, is really smart and progressive. Could not recommend this more. This is a future cult classic.
You could say it all came together.
Hey,
yeah. Couple times.
Hey, this is another one that I didn't put on my list specifically because I knew you would, and I didn't have to worry about it. I knew it would get mentioned. One of my favorite stories is the fact that Fuck Toys had their own street team that came and put up signs all over Chattanooga. And so you'd see them on poles and places. And most of them were ripped down because the city of Chattanooga was not great with those. And plus there was children's events happening over at the theater right after they put the signs up. So yeah, I think that's part of CFF's reputation in Chattanooga, though, is for being something that causes trouble in town. So yeah.
It just kind of blows me away how many people we met in Chattanooga that live there that didn't know about the film festival.
Yeah, more people need to know about this for sure. Oh, there we go. Sped up again. All right. Now that I am back in sync for at least a second, my final pick is one that Mando just mentioned. It was a super secret early screening of a new comedy. That's all we knew about it. And the comedy is called American Comic. It follows two comedians, one very like social media aware, woke lefty politics, but like in a performative way. And then the other guy is this, cancel culture, freedom warrior. And we get to
What
see
is this voice?
I think
Use it all the time.
yeah, these things happen. We get to see their comedy careers and what they're doing with stand-up and the things that happen. One of my absolute favorite things about this, though, is all of the comedy club scenes were shot in real comedy clubs with real audiences. So all the audience reactions to the jokes are real. The audience had no idea that there was a bit, that they were characters. Sometimes they said the audience would love the performance, and then they'd be like, okay, sorry, we're just joking. And let me do some real stand-up for you. And they'd be disappointed because they like the characters so much. Really great character work, really funny. There's things that happen in this movie that I will not spoil, but they're really great. Enjoyed that one a ton. Yeah, probably my favorite fest.
Can I put you on the spot?
Go for it.
How do you say the actor's name that played Jovan and Jay?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
It's Joe Kwaozala.
Wazala.
Qualzala? Yeah,
That's a lot of letters.
That's
Joe.
probably Polish.
I'm just gonna say Joe. But yeah, no, this is one of my favorites. It may actually be my favorite of the fest. I cannot wait for this one to come out in a wide release. We were the first ones to get to see it. That was the world premiere, and they're doing some other stuff right now. You can follow them on social media. They have their own Instagram and all that stuff.
I think it had its first theatrical or non-film festival release like 2 days later, 3 days later.
Yeah,
Cool.
the 29th.
Sneak preview then. For us.
Yeah, which is awesome. Like that's cool. We're the first people that got to see it though.
Yeah.
And that was at the
also-
TCL Chinese Theater in LA.
Nice.
Oh no shit.
So we each picked 3. I didn't want this to be forever, and we're running right around an hour. But before we wrap up, are there any other things that movies, shorts that you wanted to mention, even like a rapid fire kind of thing?
If I can bring up the kind of the weirdest thing that happened was meeting the editor of the movie 555 at a random German pub around the corner from the film festival.
Completely
Shout out,
unrelated
Pat!
to the film festival.
Yeah, met this guy, started shooting the shit with him. Joe shows up, and then they just break away because Joe's Joe. And I mean in the most loving way possible. They go off on like a film discussion that I cannot even touch because I'm pretty buzzed at this point. I'm like, fuck it, just gonna have a good time. And turns out we see him the next day at the film festival. He bought a 4-day pass.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it existed, but that was a really he was blown away that I knew what 555 was, and even more blown away when Joe knew what it was too.
If I had gotten to lunch earlier, I would have known too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool, like small world kind of thing.
yeah. I wanted to mention Queens of the Dead. This is George Romero's daughter, Tina Romero's debut feature, and it's a zombie movie with drag queens. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I really had a good time with it, especially with the crowd. It was a lot of fun there.
I agree. That was good.
Yeah. I'm going to just mention the Craft screening with Peter Filardi, who is one of the writers. So that was very cool because I like that movie. I haven't seen it too many times, but it was just fun to watch with an audience and then watch him talk about it after with Kimberly from Fangoria.
Yeah, that was the first time watch for me. I missed it. I missed it. You miss movies. But I thought it was really sweet seeing Kimberly up there with him because she was, one of those girls who the craft had a big impact on her when she was young. So
yeah,
I think by the end of it, both her and Peter Filardi were almost in tears. Like it's a sweet moment.
It was awesome.
Yeah. The Craft and Bride of Chucky are the movies that made me realize I'm just into women that can kill me.
Fair.
Can I bring up a few shorts real fast? We'll just
Go for
rapid fire. Endsgiving.
Endsgiving is great.
I really love that one. I think I gave it 5. I think you gave it 5 too. The Haunting in Alma Drive, I really, really loved.
Yes. So funny.
Yeah, that was a great one. Frankenbabes, I really loved from our friend Andrew Bowser of Onyx, the fame of VHX.
VHX was one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too.
Stop motion animated with VHS tapes.
As much as I love You're No Angel, I really enjoy with the Jars of Piss. It's one of the coolest parts. Like, as much as I love full-length films, I think I get so much more excited for all the shorts I get to watch.
I love the shorts blogs too.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I'm just
shout out Clementine who programs all that stuff. She does such a good job.
And a lot of them will, in years past, a lot of them end up on like Arrow Films and some smaller streaming services. So
yeah,
or Alter.
Alter is a great place to keep an eye out for those. Yeah. And one last thing I wanted to mention too is the red eyes. I didn't catch the ones while we were in person, but once I got home, I tried to catch the red eye every chance I could. And it's just Chris and Dustin, lead programmer, and they like to pick weird movies that they love to share with people. And I love doing the same thing with like my October Scare-a-thon and stuff. And so they just love sharing strange stuff with us. And so we got to watch Killer Party, which I'd seen before.
That was fun.
But really enjoy. Get Crazy, fantastic, like coked out New Year's movie. There was a really cool, what was the name of this one? Hang on, I got to pull it up real quick. Southlander, a shot on video like musician movie from 2001 that I had never heard of, with Beck in it. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. Time Masters.
Mooch Goes to Hollywood. About a dog going to Hollywood, narrated by Vincent Price as Vincent Price, and like the actor that played Mr. Magoo and Zsa Zsa Gabor. Fucking completely just wacky, and also one of my favorite things I watched.
Love it.
One last thing that I want to mention is the fact that shout out to the old Kingston building. I'm pretty sure I left about 30% of my body weight in sweat there when we were there for the live screening of Faust with the Silent Light doing the score. Absolutely unreal. I loved it. I literally we do a full episode of it on Films at First Sight with a professor from Rutgers who is like, he's working on German Expressionism, and I walked out of there. It was like a religious fucking experience. So good, so gothic, so mean, so nasty. For somebody that loves nudity, was not expecting the nudity in a movie from 1926. Shout out F.W. Murnau, you pervert.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't give a shout out to Clay Chapman McLeod.
Yes, I was about to do
Pumpkin
that.
Pie Show, yeah. One of the most enjoyable things you'll ever see. I still remember the first year we went, and Jody, you told me, Chris had told you, like, no matter what you guys do this weekend, do not miss this. And it did not disappoint. And I'm so happy I got to see that again live.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clay got to grab my head in person this year. So
it's a nice head.
Good time.
All right. Anything else? I could talk about this festival for a very, very long time, but I want to respect our listeners. And there's supposed to be a part 2 to this too, coming later. So I'll get to talk about it more.
The only thing I'll say is if you like what you've heard, go support Chattanooga Film Festival and their Double Secret Cinema Society. They do kind of what the Red Eyes were planning, like do once a month. And Jody, I'm not sure if you probably already had this teed up. I apologize if I stole the thunder out from under you, but like, support them. They have a great Patreon, great community. The Discord server that they run there pretty much has the same exact vibe of the festival Discord.
Yeah, and you get to hang out. Chris and Dustin are always around in the Discord. Sarah, who was the community manager, is always there. And it's just a fun time. It's the same Chris and Dustin finding the weirdest movies and exposing us all to them. I got to watch Heartbeats for the first time as part of the
Nobody's ever said that happily.
Hey, In a normal situation, no. But watching it with this group of weirdos, yeah, we all had a good time. Like, it was a surprisingly enjoyable time watching a okay movie.
When you go to the bathroom, there's a sign that says just use whichever one makes you most comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
you know you're in the right place. You know you're with the right
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing, you know, we mentioned things like Queens of the Dead and Abigail Before Beatrice. Chattanooga Film Fest is set in the middle of Tennessee, this conservative area that I live in. And they are one of the most inclusive film fests that I have ever heard of. They really want to champion women and people of color and LGBTQ voices. And I just, that's one of the things I love about them is they love people and they want to be something different in Tennessee. And I understand that because I also want to be something different in Tennessee. I get it.
If you feel like if you like weird cinema and you feel like you don't belong, come to Chattanooga and you will realize
Absolutely.
you belong.
That's right. You have a whole community of people who are, I won't even say just like you, but weird in the same way. So
We're all in that. We all have this Venn diagram, but we all like in the middle. Weird fucking movies is right in the middle, and that's
That's
okay.
The Venn diagram is a circle.
that's it.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, if that's it, I'm going to attempt to be Jason here and say we appreciate everyone for listening. And we would really appreciate it if you would give us a rating and review on iTunes, a rating on Spotify, a like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow Dads from the Crypt on TikTok at Dads from the Crypt Talk. I don't know. It's probably not as good as Jason. That's right.
That's pretty damn good, Jody. Do not sell yourself short.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Fucking nailed it
appreciate
today.
that.
Fucking nailed it.
That's the other thing about CFF. We build each other up.
Hell yeah.
You know, make us. Honestly, when I leave CFF every year, I want to make something, and that's I think a testament to the people there and how wonderful it is that it makes me want to be more creative. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
we build each other up. We walk each other home
that's
when
right.
it's necessary.
Sometimes we
You
make
carry
it
your
around.
folks.
With a too fucking high to function.
That's right. That's right. So I'm glad to hear you're planning on coming back again next year, Allison. I am obviously going to be there because it's an hour and a half drive for me, but I'm glad that people are willing to make the long trip.
And if you make it next year, you can stroke all of our beards. That'll be the thing. Just remind me on
no,
this one. You don't have a
thank you.
beard.
I'm not
beard,
coming.
I'll
I'm gonna go. Bye.
No, you don't have a beard. You're fine. That's why I said all of ours, and you're not included in that. You're fine.
There you go.
You can give Allison a fist bump though.
Oh! I thought you were saying that I needed to. I was like, I don't.
No.
think you-
That's what I thought you were saying as well.
I mean,
It's like we don't have that kind of relationship.
I was
Do
gonna
we
say that's
all not
okay. Yeah, I would
beard
run too.
What?
I thought
she's
not.
she's not on Airbnb levels yet.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I can't do that. I'm still sort of a lady.
You haven't lived to woken up at 3 a.m. to Joe sitting on the couch staring at you and stroking your beard. I'm just saying.
Pass. Hard pass.
All right. Well, and with that, with that note, we thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Adios.
And I
Bye-bye.
think the outro will play automatically. Let's see.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.